I'm a little embarrassed because I actually thought this song was the Beatles. I've heard it before, but upon doing a little bit of research, I found out there's a very good reason for this, and I will tell you about that once we get into it.
Still don't know what I was waiting for. And time was running wild with the dead-end streets. And every time I thought I got it made, it seemed the weight was not so steep.
So interesting.
And I told myself to face me.
So interesting, okay.
Never caught a glimpse. How the others must see this faker. I'm much too fast to take the test.
That intro or that verse is so interesting because he is singing in this kind of jazzy place. I love, you've got this kind of jazzy piano, then you've got the that really solid 4/4 beat coming in with the, what do you call it in American? We call them quavers here in the UK. Then it goes back into that jazzy kind of style, and he's already a baritone. He has that warmth in his tone. He's lowering his larynx. He's creating a lot of space. He's sliding around, and it really reminds me of Frank Sinatra in that tone. It lulls you into that sense of security where you're just like, I'm going to sit and listen to this. This is lovely. And then when you're going into the chorus, there's a change of time signature. I think there's a 2-bar and a 3-bar before we go back into our 4/4 time signature that puts you a little bit off. You feel a little bit, what's going on here? And that really embodies to me the idea of changes. It's suddenly a pop song with the do 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 do. Let's go back. Let's listen to that. So, poppy, Frank Sinatra. Waiting for.
Was running wild with the dead-end streets. And every time I thought I got it made, it seemed the weight was not so steep. I
love that. Vibrato all the way through.
Never caught a glimpse. How the others must see this faker. I'm much too fast to take the test.
Yeah, I think it's a 2 and a 3.
Didn't want to have to be a richer man. I just wanted to be a better man. Time may change me. I can't trace time.
That's great as well. Oh, it's so interesting how it constantly changes. It's such a musical metaphor. The verses reminds me of kind of classic rock pop, something like The Who. It reminds me of like your generation with the ch-ch-ch, that stuttering sound. So it's like he's taking all these different styles and then morphing them and changing them into his own thing, which is a little metaphor in itself. I love it. He's also playing with his voice to echo those different genres. You've got that warmth, that lowered larynx, all the slides in the verses, the vibrato all the way through, then the lighter, brighter sound that comes in the chorus. One, to give it lift, two, it is more of a pop tone. You can see he's got a slightly wider shape with his mouth. His larynx is probably not quite as low, I would imagine. Ch-ch-ch-ch. It's all kind of here. I want to work out that change in time signature because that kind of slightly off balance feel.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's on 3 here. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So you've got 2 and then 4 bars of 3. So unusual.
Watch the ripples change their size. Never leave the stream. Warm and permanent sand. So the days fall through my eye. The days never seem the same. And these children that they spit on as they try to change their world.
His phrasing is so intentional. Sometimes he's using this big, almost operatic vibrato to make it sound like days gone by. And I find it kind of interesting because he's saying this old way of doing stuff isn't perhaps so right. I also love how he is making the words sound like their meaning. He's so thoughtful with everything that he does. I love this creepy bass line. Catches your attention. Love that. So the days fall through my eyes.
The days never seem the same. And these children that they spit on as they try to change their world. They're immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through.
Ah, such a cool transition. That was a bit earlier. It's interesting how it comes in a bit earlier than you expect. Again, just pushing you off kilter. And that really expresses the whole entire theme of the song. I love it. Hear how different his voice is there. He goes into a nasal place. Change faster. And so different from that verse where it's low larynx, no nasality at all, so warm. He's really expressive. As I said, really cerebral, yet so fun and accessible at the same time. The reason I thought this was by the Beatles, and I think that piano stab kind of reminds me of it, is the producer of the song was a guy called Ken Scott, and he was one of the 5 producers of the Beatles. So there is, maybe I can forgive myself for that, because there is a kind of crossover in the production team there. So interesting. And that's his Elvis voice. This is so meta, isn't it? There's so many layers because he's become slightly older. I don't know how old he is here. It's 13 years ago. So he's older, certainly, and probably has a different feeling behind this song than he originally did. At this point, time probably really has changed him, and he feels very different about the world than he probably did when he first wrote this song. This song, and actually Life of Mars, was completed in 1971 after he'd been on tour in America, and he came home and he stayed in a place called Haddon Hall in Beckenham, and he wrote a whole bunch of songs, and he went into the studio at Abbey Road, and they were like, I cannot wait to record these, because these are all absolute bangers. He's really maximizing the lyrical impact. Oh, what a beautiful outro. If you listen to the original, he actually plays saxophone on it as well. What a banger. I love how he uses his voice. It's so expressive. It really maximizes all those lyrics so that you really understand the story behind absolutely everything. But also one of my favorite things is watching and hearing how a song changes meaning as an artist moves through time, and I think this is one of those songs. Before you go, I have a couple of announcements. I have just opened up some space in my calendar for some singing lessons, so if anyone is looking for singing lessons, there are some available at the moment. Also, I have just released my very own album, and it is available on my website. There are a few songs here on YouTube and on Spotify, and I would love if you could go and check that out. But for the meantime, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.